Oh, thank you for inviting me to speak at today's very important conference on International Women's Day. Um, I'd like to start by saying, there's been many times I've spoken about Iran in the House of Commons, but to be clear, my negativity isn't towards Iran, but to the regime. It's not to its people, because its people are arguably more at risk than anyone over a very toxic atmosphere in the Middle East. I find myself in a very awkward position where I'm actually channeling my inner Alex Salmond, where Iran's people haven't failed, its leadership has failed its people. Iran's women haven't failed, it's its leadership that's failed its women. We are seeing a community and the people that are ready to thrive and go out into a global world and be held back by what I can only describe as a brutal regime that has very poor views on women in general, but poor views on human rights across the world, and in particular the West. It's very easy for me to stand here and sit here and speak to you as a straight white male. I'm very fortunate not to be in a position where I'm held back or I'm kind of viewed against. But I think the topic of today being resolute and resilient, sums up Iranian women to a T, because you've had no choice but to be resolute and resilient for decades under this regime. Like I said, you are ready to thrive, but you are held back. You are ready to go out and work, but you are held back. You are ready to remove the niqab, the burqa, your headdress, but you are held back. You have strong supporters, not only in the UK Parliament, but across the West and across the globe, and especially in the Middle East. But what you really need is support at home. So if there is anything that we can do as parliamentarians, we will do so. We will call out your regime where it is doing things wrong, and state-sponsored terrorism, as is almost a mainstay, is called out almost on a daily basis. But we need peace in Iran, because without peace in Iran, we have no peace in the Middle East. And at the moment, it's that region which is one of the most polarized in the world. So we will continue to send strong messages of support to all those that need it. You will not only have the support, but you will have the means to actually stand up and make your voices heard, because for far too long you haven't been heard. So I think really it's a very clear message, and that is, if you are going out there in the world, speak to all contacts that you have. Let them know the plight of Iranian women, and let them know what you want to see as a free, prosperous, global Iran. In recent weeks, I've been speaking in Parliament about the dangers of Daesh as being a destabilizing a regime of their own, essentially, in the Middle East. But they are essentially in a position where they are able to thrive because they are sponsored by the regime. We see the IRGC not only committing acts of atrocity on your home soil, but across the Middle East and across the globe. And again, that is down to the regime. So we've seen sanctions applied, and I think we heard earlier from Bob Blackman and other colleagues about the Magnitsky sanctions that have been applied. But we do need to go further. We do need to say that actually enough is enough, and we do need serious action, whether that is through the JCPOA or further means to actually say we're not taking any more action, because we do need to support a free people of Iran. So you have my support in doing so, because I want to see Iranian women prosper in the sciences, prosper in philosophy, prosper in every field you set your mind to it, because the only thing that should hold you back is yourself, not a state, not its leadership. So you have our support in doing so, and we will continue to lend that support until you are free and you can prosper. So resolute and resilient, you have been. Unfortunately, you need to stay that way for hopefully just a bit longer, but we will continue to support you throughout that journey.